Authorities here in Jamestown are pursuing charges against a now former Jamestown College student allegedly involved in a reported assault last week. Good evening, I'm Courtney Oliver.
And I'm JT Petsch. Welcome to the James River Valley Report. Jamestown City Police Chief Scott Ettinger said his department may charge former Jimmy football player Gavana Williams. The 19-year-old Texas native was involved in an altercation shortly after midnight on September 22nd here in Jamestown. Police reported receiving calls that a man had been jumped in the 200th block, 6th Avenue in the city's southeast section. 5 other football players were involved in the incident in which another student was struck in the face with an unknown instrument. The scuffle took place outside Watson Hall, the freshman dorm where all involved had lived. Jamestown College expelled Williams along with Darius Threadgill and Terrell Owens, both 18, and 3 others including Ronald Gordon II, Tyrus Kendrick, and Breon Crenshaw, all of whom are 19 years old. All of now former players involved were from Texas and reportedly are members of a gang called the Power Circle. Breon Crenshaw says the group was formed on August 5th when him and his closest freshman felt a brotherhood between them like a bond. Jamestown College student Aubrey Ogden of Annandale, Minnesota was shocked to hear about gang activity on campus.
I think it's stupid. Like, why would you come to Jamestown and do that?
Gary Van Zinderman, the Dean of Students at Jamestown College, says it's important to act as a family on campus and support each other.
And I think that's the biggest thing that I can emphasize. I say that from the very beginning.
Police Chief Ettinger said the 6 former students were put on aboard a bus last Tuesday and sent home.
Students in more than 130 schools across North Dakota will take part in the Pride of Dakota event tomorrow. It will showcase school lunches made from North Dakota produced food. Agriculture Commissioner Doug Gehring said the special school lunch day will help local economies as well as teach students how their food gets to their table. Applications for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program began taking applications today. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says about 13,000 people received assistance last year. The program helps eligible families pay for home heating and weatherizing. To qualify for assistance, a household can earn up to 60% of the state median income.
A North Dakota Border Patrol station will get a major makeover, according to the published reports. The federal government plans to build a $13 million remodel of the aging building. The facility will be 30,000 square feet on 10 acres of land in Pembina, where 50 agents are based. Customs spokesman Chris Grogan says construction could begin in just a few months. Sunland Inc., a New Mexico company, has recalled many of their roasted peanut products due to an outbreak of salmonella. The Federal Center for Disease Control and Prevention says there are now 30 illnesses in 19 states that can be traced to the company's products. Sunland sells its nuts and nut butters to large groceries and food distributors around the country.
A brain-damaged man serving life in prison has been ordered a new trial. The Connecticut State Appellate Court ruled today that prosecutors had suppressed key evidence and his previous attorney failed to pursue the evidence issue. Current lawyers for 66-year-old Richard LaPointe argue that new DNA evidence proves he is innocent. LaPointe is charged with killing his former wife's grandmother in 1987. United States manufacturing has increased for the first time in 4 months. The Institute for Supply Management says its index for factory activity rose to 51.5, which is up from 49 in August. The U.S. is not the only country with struggles. Europe's financial crisis has pushed them into recession, and growth into China and India has slowed. Although the increase here is a hopeful sign that the economy may be improving. Coming up after the break, we'll hear about weather.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to like, you know, do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At iava.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
The oil boom is something we here in North Dakota are quite used to, but some also say we are very familiar with alcohol. Steve Perkins is a senior broker at PVM Oil Futures, and he says he spent more than $520 million on oil futures contracts one night after drinking excessively. The following morning, an administrative clerk called Perkins to ask why he had bought 7 million barrels of oil. Perkins had no recollection of the transaction. It turned out that he had made the trades during a drunken blackout. By that time, PVM had realized that they had lost nearly $10 million on the trade. Following an official investigation, Perkins admitted to having a drinking problem and has had his trading license revoked for 5 years and fined nearly $120,000. The weather has been unseasonably warm this weekend, Jessica. What's going to happen with that?
You're right, JT. Today's been pretty warm. We kind of can't complain about it. Today the sun was out and we reached a high of 70, which is pretty warm for October here in North Dakota. Tomorrow again, warmer than you might expect with a high of 81 degrees. Once night falls, we'll see a dip in the temperatures and a slight chance of rain. Wednesday, a big drop in temperatures. We're talking about going from 80 degrees to 50 degrees by Wednesday. It will be cloudy with a high in the mid-50s as well as a 60% chance of precipitation. You can expect to carry your umbrella for most of the day and will more than likely want to throw on some extra layers once the sun goes down. The temperature will drop to a low of 35 degrees. The rain will begin to die down come Thursday morning, still very chilly with only a high in the mid-40s. And that will be the trend for the rest of the week as well as the weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mostly sunny with highs in the mid-40s. And that about wraps it up, JT. I feel like we're on a roller coaster this week. Right now we're sitting on the top with 70s to 80 degrees, and I feel like we're gonna plummet. Not as thrilling as I remember.
In Afghanistan today, a suicide bomber killed 14 people, including 3 United States troops. The man drove a motorcycle packed with explosives into a joint Afghan-American patrol point. Taliban spokesman Zab al-Ullah Hadid said in text messages to the media that insurgent group was behind the attack. More than 60 Afghan civilians were also wounded in the bombing. When we come back, Matt Balshaw has sports, and what's up with Justin Bieber? Courtney Oliver will have more on that after this.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, I first started skating with my friend. He had an extra board, and then he just gave it to me, and I've been skating ever since. Well, when I don't land a trick and I have my mind set on something, and I'm not getting what I want, I just keep going for it until I get it right. My mom, she didn't go to college, so she wants me to experience that whole thing, and so I could end up getting like a good job. I think to get into college, I'll have to be determined. Just like when I want to get a new trick, and skating's helped me realize I've got what it takes.
Turning to sports. This weekend we saw the Jimmy soccer team drop their first game in what had promised to be an unbeaten season. And the Jimmy girls took 2 games over the weekend. Matt Balshaw is with us. What else happened over the weekend, Matt?
Well, Courtney, athletics in Jamestown was at a high this weekend as the Jimmies and Blue Jays both picked up victories home and away. The Jimmy football team had a few nervy moments in the game against Mayville State on Saturday, but came away with a well-earned victory, taking their record to 2-4. Down 20-14 to Mayville State with less than 4 minutes to play, Jamestown College delivered a game-winning drive. Running backs Lance Johansson and Matt Mitthaugen followed the push of the offensive line, with Johansson delivering the game-tying score from 23 yards out, with less than 2.5 minutes to play. Craig Anderson followed with the extra point to put the Jimmies in front, the final score being 21-20 to the Jimmies. The Jimmies are back in action in 2 weeks' time for the homecoming game against Dickinson State, whose record sits at 1-4. A good weekend for Jimmy women's soccer as they improved to 7-4-1 on the season, following 2 victories against University of Great Falls last weekend. Better late than never, as many would say, for the Jimmy women's soccer team, who went into their 5th overtime of the season. A hot afternoon with plenty of hard work paid off for the Jimmies when Cara Wall tied the game after an early goal by Great Falls. Jolyn Warnes popped up with 6 minutes to go and scored the game-winning goal, making the final score 2-1. The ladies were also back in action Sunday, notching a 3-1 victory over Great Falls with goals from Lane, Adamson and an own goal by the Great Falls defender. The stick finally bent and broke on Saturday as the Jimmy men's soccer unbeaten streak came to an end. Their 10-game streak fell into the hands of Great Falls, losing 2-1. The only goal from the Jimmies came from Jay Johnson, who moved to 6 goals for the season. 2 early goals dampened spirits in the team's confidence, but managed to work a goal back with 10 minutes left on the clock. This proved to be too little too late as they now fall to 10-1. They are back in action against Rocky Mountain College next Sunday at home. The Lady Jimmies volleyball team dominated this weekend with victories over Valley City State on Friday and Dakota Wesleyan on Saturday at the Hanson Center. The Jimmies took both matches 3-0, which leaves them 15-3 on the season. The Roy Gryak Invitational in Minneapolis was a tough test for the Jamestown College men's cross-country team on Saturday. The freshman alliance of Connor Doppler, Joe Jensen and Josh Knutson, along with junior Scott Romick, all ran season and personal best. The Jimmy men's top 2 runners Dave Lund and Spencer Camoni finished a very strong position but were off time-wise. The ladies were also in action at the Roy Gryak Invitational. All-American Aliona Reyes was back in action after battling injuries and illnesses. She managed to finish 51st in the race. Samantha Goff handled the course well, finishing 84th out of 402 finishers. In other sports news, Jamestown High School Blue Jays swimmer Annie Hart won the 50 freestyle in 26.39 seconds at the Maroon and Gold Invite in Minneapolis. Adding to her tally, she took 2nd in the backstroke and helped the 200 freestyle relay take a solid 1st place. Jamestown placed 6th with 191 points out of 10 teams. Mount Weston, a Holy Family, won the invite with 410.5 points. Jamestown High School junior Nick Watner lost the tennis match in straight sets to Mandan's Brandon Shaner 6-1, 7-5 in a state qualifying match at the West Region Tournament in Bismarck on Saturday. And that's the sports news for this report. Back to you, Courtney.
And finally, in Glendale, Arizona, the show must go on. At least that was the case for popular pop singer Justin Bieber. In his latest concert, Bieber, who was well known for his musical talents, might now be known for something a little different. Bieber ended up throwing up in the middle of the stage as the video shows, but he managed to continue his performance. And that's the James River Valley Report for this Monday, October 1st. For JT Petsch, Jessica Gulseth, and Matt Balshaw, I'm Courtney Oliver. Thanks for joining us. Good night.